In this presentation, we report remarkable large-scale pattern formations observed in soft quasi-periodic materials activated by mechanical loading. The 3D printed soft material microstructures represent an 8-fold Ammon-Binker quasi-periodic base pattern with arrangements of circular and elliptical voids. The materials possess initial chirality characterized by the rotating angle of the elliptical voids, 15 degrees in this example. We apply equibiaxial, plane strain compression to the material sample. Upon critical deformation, large-scale patterns emerge from initially uniform material. Looking closer, we see that the patterns were formed through a complex multiscale mechanism. Microstructural transformation initiates with nucleation of void collapses and then spreads to nearby regions. If we look at the microscale image, we see that the patterns are visible due to the contrast between collapsed, densified voids and other regions maintaining their porosity. Can we tailor the chirality angle to produce different patterns? Yes. In a sample with a stronger chirality angle of 45 degrees, we observe a new pattern formation. Compared to the weak chirality one, this sample follows a similar pattern formation trajectory, but results in a distinctly different pattern. This pattern is also formed by contrast between bright and dark areas, but through a different mechanism compared to the weak chirality sample. Let's compare them closely. In the weak chirality sample, the porosity seems to be preserved by gridlocks of nucleation spots, but in the strong chirality one, most nucleation spots spread outward, forming narrow, stripe-like porous domains. This microscopic mechanism explains why we observe distinctly different large-scale patterns with weak and strong initial chiralities. We next perform numerical analysis to get detailed insights into the phenomenon. First, we observe a sudden softening of the stress-strain curve as void nucleation begins. Simulations also explicitly show that the pattern formation involves initiation and propagation of microstructural transformations. Those simulation results also closely match our experimental observations. Interestingly, we further notice the similarity shared by the two patterns. See, if we scale the left pattern by about 2.414, we find the two patterns exhibit the same shape. Returning to the original scale, we notice that they are actually the same pattern, but developing in different length scales. The ratio between the two patterns is exactly the silver ratio, as derived by mapping them onto a scaled Ammon-Binker tiling. Next, we achieve a broader range of patterns by exploring a wider range of chirality angles using larger-sized samples. Interestingly, as we further decrease the chirality, we observe a large-scale pattern. For example, in the case where the chirality angle is 10 degrees, when we reduce the angle further to 4.5 degrees, the emerging pattern becomes significantly larger. Extracting the wireframe of these patterns, we find they all share the same shape but develop at different length scales. They have the same center pattern structure. If we compare the length of each, we find they lie on a geometric sequence, and the common ratio of the sequence is the silver ratio. Thank you for watching this presentation. We believe this experimentally observed phenomenon opens a new class of transformative materials with switchable quasi-periodic patterns propagating across multiple length scales.